Hi there, I'm John Shields from Chesapeake Bites and our common table. And we're continuing our celebration of tomatoes and of all the summer has to offer. We were out just the other day to one of my favorite places over at
Communitas.
They are the best. We had so much fun and we got some beautiful tomatoes and walked all around. I mean, it's an absolutely gorgeous farm set in just really 1 acre, and you can't believe how much they produce. It's unbelievable. So we're gonna do that is sort of like a little bit country-ish in style here. It's stewed tomatoes and okra. This is something that we absolutely love this time of the year. I was just down the farmer's market and they just almost every other stand, the produce stand, had big baskets of okra. And now I know, okra sometimes gets a bad rap. Some people like, oh, I don't like okra. Well, I don't think you really tried it, and I don't think that you gave it all that much of a chance. So one of the interesting things about okra, it comes from actually an African dialect like Gamba, and that's where gumbo derives its name, because it's an okra stew. And also the okra, when you're cooking it slow and putting a little bit of a lid on it, they call that roping the okra. And what happens during that time is some of that thing that people say, oh, it's a little oozy in there, that kind of comes out and it thickens the stew. It thickens the gumbo. So this is really the integral part of that dish that we all know as gumbo. All right, so in here I have some fresh, lovely butter from one of our local dairies there going up South Mountain Creamery. As you're leaving around Baltimore and going out to Frederick, you're kind of just starting to go up into the Allegheny Mountains, and South Mountain Creamery is there. They make some beautiful butter. So we're sauteing some gorgeous onions and bell peppers. Bell peppers, again, right around this time of the year. They're everywhere at all the farmers markets and the local roadside stands. Sometimes, probably in many of your neighborhoods or just outside your neighborhoods, there are people that are still farming. And many of them who are not able to get to a farmer's market or get into a farmer's market on a regular basis often have roadside stands. So check those out, meet the farmers, chat them up, and you can get some really good deals and some amazing produce right there. Okay, so now I have got everything sauteed up there, lovely. And we've taken the okra, just made like about 1/2 inch thick cut. And I'm gonna add that here. And stir this up here. And so we're gonna cook this for about 5 minutes. And periodically come back, stir it a bit. And essentially, it's kind of like sort of roping the okra, and it'll kind of give a nice texture to this when we put the tomatoes in. So let's stir. All right, it's looking good. Okra's just softening up just a little bit, and it smells so good with those peppers and onions and stuff. So now the tomatoes have been peeled and lightly seeded and halved. You don't have to do any dicing, slicing, anything from here. Just put them straight into the pot, all the juices, like so. Beautiful. Now I'm gonna just take this, stir that around. I'm gonna put just a tiny pinch of salt and pepper in there right now. Just a little bit, just while it's cooking, and when it's finished, then we can add a little bit more, a little bit less, and get it right to where we want it to be. So I'm going to turn this up a bit, and we're going to take and kind of partially cover it. You know, we don't want to like totally steam it, but you want it to kind of all come together and make a nice little stewish kind of thing. So this is going to take, you know, about probably another, it could take 30 minutes, 40 minutes until all the tomatoes break down. All right, things are looking good in this pot. The tomatoes have broken down beautifully. Okra's looking good. Now to finish it, I'm going to put just a little touch of tomato paste in there and some brown sugar and a little bit more salt and pepper. I'm going to stir this around here. Put that in. There we go. And we can let this simmer just for about 5 more minutes. And then we're going to have a beautiful dish of stewed tomatoes and okra. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do, we have a little side thing that goes so nicely with these tomatoes and okra. Polenta. What is polenta? Well, polenta basically, it sounds really fancy, but it's really just cornmeal. You know, when you get grits, cornmeal grits, it's Italian style of grits. Anyway, so, you know, you might not have time, you have company coming over. There's quite a number of different companies that make, you know, the pre-made rolls of polenta. So basically what I would do with that, just cut it down, you know, about a ½ inch thick, brush it with a little bit of olive oil, salt, pepper. You could put it on a grill, or you could throw it right in the oven, or you could do it in a sauté pan. It's so easy, and it's a really nice starch and goes very, very well with vegetables, meats, fish, everything. We're gonna take some of our polenta here, make a little line of this down the plate, like so. And then we're just going to take and scoop a little bit of this, like along the side of it. Ooh, very nice. Like so. Put a dollop in the center. And this is the old Eastern Shore way, but you know, you could put a little bit of freshly grated Parmesan cheese on this as well. Turns it into a completely different dish. As I said, this goes with so many wonderful things. One of the things that I often like to do it with is some of our local fish. You know, we have the rockfish, which is also known as striped bass, and that's kind of like the piece de la resistance of the Chesapeake. But the one that we're loving now, and we're eating like crazy now, is the blue catfish. It's an invasive species, but dang, it is some good eating. So that's another thing that you could do with a dish like this. You could fry yourself up some catfish, you could broil up the catfish, whatever you like. Maybe a little bit later, I'll even show you how to fry the catfish. But anyway, this is pretty much it. This is just a delicious, old-fashioned, wonderful summertime treat. And the only way you're gonna get something this darn good is to get yourself to the farmer's market and shop local, buy local, and just keep at it. So from all of us at our Common Table and Chesapeake Bites, get out, buy local.